Hey everyone, this is the Hot Revenge community. Ready to listen to a new hot story? Then get comfortable and we're starting.
The story will be told from the perspective of the main female character.
My 9-year-old nephew, Leo, stared straight at me across the dining room table. He leaned right over my plate and purposefully spat into my food. He had a triumphant smirk. My father announced, "That's what you deserve." I glanced up. My sister, Skylar, and her husband, Ethan, both burst out laughing. My brother, Caleb, simply looked down, hiding a smile behind his napkin. Mom, Diane, sitting at the head of the table, kept eating and didn't react at all. The shame was complete. Have you ever been the invisible one in your own home? Tell me your story in the comments below. This behavior wasn't a surprise. The difference was that this time, it happened openly. My entire adult life, I had served as the unspoken backbone of the family. The reliable one, the one who took the blame. I am Riley, a 35-year-old logistics coordinator. I'm dependable, reserved, and always available. And they exploited that. They interpreted my dependability as being weak and my kindness as being stupid. I remembered the call 3 years ago when my sister needed me to co-sign her vehicle loan. "Just until I get stable, I promise," she had said. Now, I still receive notices about her late payments. I also thought about all the unexpected financial crises Mom created. The urgent plumbing failure, the utility bills she let expire, the property taxes she forgot to pay. I quietly covered every single one of them without asking questions. Meanwhile, my sister, the favored child, was celebrated with parties for minor promotions, received expensive birthday gifts, and got endless praise for minimal effort. You have to realize that disrespect in my family wasn't just an incident, it was the atmosphere we lived in. It was a pattern accepted over decades. I wasn't viewed as a person. I was a utility. I was the troubleshooter, the scapegoat, the one they used for emotional dumping. Watching me suffer was their shared entertainment, a bonding activity. Leo's action wasn't defiance. It was a performance for an appreciative, laughing audience, my family. I remained in this situation for years. It is easy to ask, why didn't you simply leave? But you cannot grasp the strength of those unseen restraints. When you grow up in that kind of dynamic, you develop specialized methods of survival. It's not cowardice, it's a cage with invisible bars. You learn that resisting only makes your confinement tighter, so you remain silent. You absorb the abuse. You shrink yourself down, hoping that if you are quiet enough, good enough, and useful enough, they might finally notice you. You learn to survive on tiny bits of recognition. You convince yourself that this is the only treatment you deserve. That defined my existence until that particular evening. I looked down at the food I wouldn't be eating. I watched Mom immediately turn away to start asking Ethan about his golf round. I looked at my sister, who was texting, a smug little smile fixed on her mouth. I stood up from my chair. The room instantly fell quiet, and I could sense everyone watching me, waiting. This was the point where they expected me to cry. This was the part where I was supposed to start screaming or become dramatic, as they always called it. This was where I performed my assigned function as the emotionally unstable family member, so they could all unify in eye-rolling and tell me to calm down. Mom let out a sigh without even looking my way. "Riley, don't start anything." I didn't say anything at all. I just picked my handbag up from the back of the chair. I walked directly to the front door, slipped on my shoes, and then I walked out. I didn't slam the door shut. I closed it softly behind me. I had driven halfway back to my place before I heard their laughter starting up again. I didn't cry on the ride home. I felt nothing at all. The part of me that used to desperately crave their acceptance, the part that should have been heartbroken, it simply wasn't there anymore. It felt like a nerve that had been squeezed for so long that it had finally died. I arrived back at my apartment, made a cup of tea, and sat on the sofa in the silence. The quiet in my place felt different now. It wasn't the lonely silence I was accustomed to. It was a clean quiet, an empty space waiting to be filled. At exactly 9:15 p.m., my cell phone screen lit up on the coffee table. It was the family group chat. A message from Mom, "Diane, don't contact us again." That was the complete message. No attempt at explaining. No, we need to discuss this. Just a straightforward command and excommunication. I kept staring at the text, watching the little typing bubbles. Then my brother, Caleb's icon, showed up. He added a thumbs-up emoji reaction to Mom's text. He was clearly taking their side. Of course he was. It was the easiest path. I should have been devastated. I should have been weeping, pleading with them to change their minds. For 2 decades, a message like this would have destroyed me. It would have sent me into a frantic series of apologies, trying to figure out where I went wrong, what I needed to do to repair things. But as I looked at the screen and those cold, definitive words, I felt zero emotion. The chain wasn't just broken, it was gone. The family prison they had kept me in my entire life, the one I had also helped maintain, wasn't just unlocked. It had completely disappeared. I took a slow, deep breath. The air felt new. It felt like my own. I had sudden clarity, sharp, cold, and beautiful. I knew precisely what needed to happen next. I picked up my phone. I looked at Mom's directive and my brother's thumbs up, understanding everything. My fingers were steady as I typed. The $3,800 mortgage autopay ends tomorrow. I hit send. Then I placed the phone face down on the table. I walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and logged into my bank account. It was time for a complete cleanup. First, the mortgage. I had started that automatic monthly payment 18 months before, right after Mom called me crying that the bank was threatening foreclosure proceedings. "Just for a couple of months, Riley, until I get things worked out," she had pleaded. That couple of months had lasted 18 months, costing $3,800 every single month. I located the recurring transaction and clicked cancel. A small prompt appeared asking, "Are you sure?" I immediately clicked confirm. A small, quiet click. Just like that, the main financial line was cut. But I wasn't finished yet. I moved to the streaming services. The family bundle, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, was all under my name, and my sister, her husband, and my nephew were the only ones using them. Cancel subscription. Confirm. Next was the family cell phone service. I had been covering the costs for all 4 of them for 5 years straight. It was a family plan where I was the sole contributor. I logged onto the provider's website. I transferred the ownership of their specific phone numbers directly into Mom's name. The account would now be hers, and the bills would follow immediately. Then there was the cable and internet connection for their house, which was still tied to my name from a brief period when I lived there years ago. I submitted the service cancellation request, effective the next day. Finally, the auto loan. My sister's car, the one I had co-signed for. I dialed the bank's late-night customer service hotline. I clearly explained that I was the co-signer and wished to begin the process of a liability release, removing my name from the loan entirely. The representative warned me that my sister would need to requalify for the loan by herself. "That seems like her concern," I stated. "Please initiate the necessary paperwork." While I was still on the call, my other phone on the desk started to vibrate wildly. It didn't just buzz quietly. It rattled against the wood surface, a frantic, angry buzzing. I ended the call with the bank and looked at the screen. The group chat was already exploding. My sister, what is the meaning of that text? The mortgage payment. Her husband, is someone trying to pull a prank? Tell us, Riley. My brother, that isn't humorous at all. Mom is having a total meltdown. Mom, call me right now. You can't possibly be serious about this. You're behaving like a child. My sister, our mother just said the internet is getting cut off. What exactly are you doing? Pick up the phone. I read every message, one after the other, feeling absolutely nothing. I watched the 3 small dots appear and disappear rapidly as they typed over each other in a panic. I picked up the phone. I switched it to silent mode. I plugged it into charge on my nightstand, went into the bathroom, washed my face, and climbed into bed. For the first time in my entire adult life, I fell asleep well before midnight. The silence that followed was absolute. Weeks passed by. I didn't just manage to survive in the silence. I started actively building my new life within it. I went to my job. I started reading books I had purchased years ago and never opened. I found a yoga studio 2 blocks away and began attending classes on the weekends. I was learning how to breathe my own air, and I was discovering that I really liked the sensation. My phone stayed quiet. No raging calls, no desperate text messages. It seemed that by cutting the money supply, I had completely ceased to exist for them. It was the most peaceful month I had experienced in a decade. One Tuesday, a message arrived from my cousin, Taylor. It was a screenshot of a GoFundMe page titled, "Help Leo Get Through a Tough Year." The photo showed him smiling at a baseball game. I read the text, and the peace I had found instantly shattered. "We are a family currently facing some unexpected challenges," my sister had written. "Our son is dealing with sudden medical bills. Unfortunately, certain family members we relied on chose to abandon us, leaving us in a terrible bind. We only want our little boy to get the care he needs. Any little bit helps." I scrolled down. The goal was $11,000. Total raised $50. A single donation from Mom. I stared at sudden medical bills. This wasn't sudden. This was negligence. I remembered my sister calling 3 months ago. The doctor said Leo needed surgery for a worsening hernia. "It's not critical yet, but they want to schedule it. Can you help out?" I sent $4,500, enough for the deposit. 2 weeks later, her social media showed pictures from a 7-day Bahamas cruise. Her husband, my brother, and she were all smiles, cocktails in hand. "Living our best life," the caption read. I had naively thought they covered the surgery and the trip. Now I realized there was no end. They took the money meant for their son's health and spent it on vacation. They knew when the non-emergency became critical, they could return to me. They gambled with their child's health, using my kindness as their collateral. This GoFundMe was a calculated lie. It was the final proof. I was never family. I was the safety net, the emergency reserve, the one expected to absorb their messes forever. I closed the app. The familiar pain of betrayal was there, mixed with cold rage. They thought they knew me. They thought I would cave. They had no idea who I was becoming. I was finishing a report when my sister texted. "I know you hate me, I get it, but it's about Leo." I stopped typing. My heart went cold and still. "The hernia, it's an emergency now. The hospital says he needs surgery by Friday or it could be bad. Total cost is $22,000. Mom and I scraped together $13,500, but we're still $8,500 short. Please, I'm not asking for me. I'm begging you. He needs this. Please." He's just a kid. I read it twice. The old me would have been panicked. She would have drained her savings, transferred the money, and then cried, feeling sick and used. But I thought about the GoFundMe. I thought about the cruise. If I sent the money, it would be a relapse. It would teach them their negligence had no consequences. I would not be their fixer again. But I would not let a child suffer for his parents' cruelty. My hand was steady. I didn't reply to my sister or call Mom. This was my decision alone. I called the hospital billing department. "Yes," I said, calm and professional. "I'd like to make a payment on behalf of a patient. The name is Leo." The woman found the account. "He has a procedure scheduled for Friday. How much is the outstanding balance?" "The remaining copayment is $8,500. "I'd like to pay that, all of it right now." I gave her my credit card number. "The payment has been approved. The balance is now 0. He is set for his procedure." "Thank you. Can you email me a receipt?" A minute later, the receipt arrived. Paid in full, $8,500. I took a screenshot. I opened my texts. My sister had sent 3 more messages. "My sister, please just say something." I attached the paid receipt screenshot. Then I typed my last message. "It's handled. Do not contact me again." I hit send. Then I blocked her number, blocked her husband, blocked my brother, blocked my mother. The final cut was made. I turned my phone off and sat back. For the first time, I felt truly free. I didn't turn the phone back on for 2 days. The silence felt full. It was the sound of a choice made for myself. When I checked it, there was one new voicemail. It wasn't angry. It was short and heavy from Mom. Her voice was thick. "Riley, I just got off the phone with the hospital. They told me the balance was paid by you, after everything I said." She took a shaky breath. "I don't know what to say except I'm genuinely sorry. I think I've been a terrible mother to you. I always saw you as someone who could take it, so I gave you everything to carry. I'm so sorry, Riley." I listened to the apology I had waited my whole life to hear. It wasn't a victory, it was just sad. Sad it took this final break for her to finally see me. I considered my decision to pay. Letting them fail would have been justice. But I realized there is the justice of weeding, cutting them off, and the justice of the sower. It wasn't revenge. It was choosing what to plant in the cleared ground. I chose to save Leo, not for them, but for me. It was my final act of power, proving their cruelty hadn't made me cruel too. A week later, a package arrived with no return address. Inside were old photo albums, pictures of me and my sister before the jealousy started, me holding my brother as a baby. Tucked inside was a note from my sister. I am sorry, Riley, for all of it. I don't know how to fix it. Underneath was a folded piece of construction paper, a kid's drawing of stick figures and a flower. In shaky 9-year-old writing, it said, "Sorry I was mean. Thank you for helping me not die, Leo." Another month passed. Then a text from Mom. "Dinner, just us. I'm cooking a real one, please." I almost said no, but I went. It was painfully awkward. Mom cooked. My sister, her husband, my brother, and even Leo were there looking at his shoes. But no one yelled. No one made comments. We just ate. We were clearing plates when Mom spoke. Quiet now. "I wasn't fair to you, Riley. I always saw you as the one who could take it, so I just gave you everything to carry." I just nodded. I didn't say it was okay, because it wasn't. But looking at Leo drawing quietly and my sister washing dishes without being asked, I realized it wasn't an end. It was a new beginning, a real one. Has a single moment ever changed your family relationship forever? Share your story in the comments. I read them all. And don't forget to like and subscribe for